Hello and welcome to Hixxy Studio. In this video I am going to show you how to make this card using this stamp set from Julie Hickey Designs. It's called Daisy Blooms. I'm also using some Pixie Sparkles. Not used these for a while, so a little bit of a Pixie Sparkles go. So for the background I am using the Pale Blush and the Teal Marine, and then I've used the these two to paint, just to bring them out a little bit more from the background. Okay, so we're going to start by making or showing you how to make the background. I have chosen this time, quite often I do it on white stamping card, occasionally on watercolor card. This is Faber-Castell mixed media paper, which is on the Hixxycrafts website. Comes in a bigger pad and I just cut it down. And it's a different texture. It's not as textured as a cold press watercolor card, and it's not as smooth as a stamping card. So it's kind of in the middle. So just trying to move things out of the way so I don't get too much of a mess. So I'm going to start by spray the card paper. It's kind of a midweight, so I sprayed it on the back. You can see it's already turning. You can see I've got other bits on my yeah. That's what happens when you don't clean things. So I've already got some some other colours. You never know what you're going to get when you put things in my little tray here. You can see I've already got. I know what that's some Pixie Burst. That's a green, and that's some Pixie Sparkle there, but not to worry. So I'm going to use the Pale Blush and the Teal Marine, mostly the Pale Blush, because I want quite a pale background. And this Pale Blush, it has as you can see it coming through already, you can see it has this there's not a lot of pigment in this one, whereas with some of the Pixie Sparkles and Pixie Powders, Pixie Burst, they're absolutely full of pigment and like just bursts out with colour. The Pale Blush I really like because it doesn't do that. It is quite muted and it's more sparkle than pigment. I really like that. The Teal Marine, however, is quite, as you can see, there's obviously a few bits hanging around. So I have to be careful because otherwise I will overpower. So I'm just trying to gently tap, and it won't happen. It's like with the ketchup bottles. It's not coming out, not coming out, and then it all comes out. Well, there you go. See, look, there's me, like, and over it goes. So just put in, and I'm trying to avoid the sort of middle area. And to be honest with you, I've probably put enough on already, but we just put a couple more splodges on there. Like I said, I don't want it to overpower the background because we want to stamp onto this background, and if background is too dark, then we're not going to be able to see the image. I am going to give that a little bit more of a spray, and you can see particularly the Teal Marine, there's loads more pigment in those little bits that I put in there, and there's some purple come from somewhere as well. Obviously had some load of different stuff on my table when I was cutting this piece of card, but I don't mind that because actually we're not going to use this piece, and there is a reason, not because I don't like it, because I do. We're going to stamp on it and we're going to emboss. If the card is in any way damp, then you are going to get embossing powder just stuck all over it. So you would need to let this dry, and if possible, try to let it dry naturally, and then the card will be as flat as it can be. Okay, so we're gonna leave this one for another day, and I'm gonna get out one that I've already done and allowed to dry. And you can see the shimmer, and that comes mostly, but not entirely, mostly from the Pale Blush, because as I said, that one is much more shimmer than pigment. So now what I need to do is I need to stamp onto this, and I'm going to stamp with versafine Clair Nocturne, black one, and then I'm going to emboss that in with clear embossing powder. So I'm just going to grab myself a piece of paper to catch my embossing powder. Okay, now I don't need the whole of the piece of card, as you can see. You know, I'm just gonna need enough to stamp that on, so I can choose where I want my stamp to go. And this is the acetate carrier that comes with the stamp. So before I even put it in my stamp platform, I can decide where. In fact, I quite like it there. I think I need to come up a little bit because of the bottom, so I get an even bottom and top. So roughly there will do. So we know we're going to go this end, so I'm just going to keep hold of that. Grab my stamping platform. I do already have the stamp in here, but not necessarily in the right place. It's in there from a previous project. Make sure I've got the ink off of that. Peel that off. Trying to do that across my body. So if we put it in this way, we know that oh, why do I do that? Put those there for a minute. Put that one up there. That one up there. Let's see if I can separate these two. There we go. Right there. So it's this way. I'm going to get my stamp now. And I can see roughly where I want it. Ooh, I've got that caught under the magnets. So I'm looking, it was roughly there, wasn't it? Like so. And bring that down. And open up. I'm going to ink. Now, have I got my everything ready? I've got a little bit of paper for the embossing. I've got powder open, ready. And let's ink. Oh. Okie dokie. Get that nicely covered with ink. And then bring that over. And then I'm going to make sure that I press on all the bits. See what we got. A little bit more over there. Use the heel of my hand this time. Perfect. Now, like I say, if I had done that on stamp card, even though it wouldn't particularly show, running out of that now, it wouldn't particularly show up too much as it's a sparkly background. It would just waste a lot of your embossing powder because anywhere it was damp, it would just cling to. So we're just going to make sure we have covered all of those bits. Give it a little tap. There we go. And put this back. Like so. And put the lid on. Don't blow it all away. I'm going to get my heat gun on. Just let it warm up a little bit. It shouldn't be too bad because we had it on I had it on for another project just now. I say we had it on just now, we did, but it was for another project. There we go. So you can see if I pointed the heat gun at the project rather than somewhere in the distance. There we go. Okay. Now this is one where I probably would potentially spritz this on the back and then put it between a couple of heavy things to just sort of straighten it out a little bit. Obviously, we've had a lot of water on this, had a lot of heat from the heat gun, and the card, with the best will in the world, is going to buckle. It just is. So, right. So, what we want to do now, before we do anything else, is we're going to do a little bit of painting with Pixie Sparkles. So, I've got red oxide, which is very, very pigmented, but actually, once you mix it with the water, it becomes quite a nice pink, and then very little amount of the green bay just to do the leaves. So I'm going to, in fact, I'm going to do it the other way. That would be more sense, rather than putting the powder in and then spraying the powder and it going. If I just put a little bit of water into two of my bits there, and then I'm going to put some red oxide into this one. You can see already just how strong that is. Well, I'm just putting green bay. This is why when I put stuff in my spraying thing, all sorts of odd colours appear. Because I'm not really very careful when I spray or splat things. As you can see, there's sparkle everywhere. Right, so I'm going to bring my water in, and I'm going to grab a piece of kitchen towel. And I'm not bothered about how wet my brush is. I need it kind of wet. I don't want this to be too in your face. Now, this green bay, you can kind of see this is already gone almost a teal colour. So that's from the teal. When you use it, there's a real, I think it's this one. The teal, does the teal one have like a yellow in it? I think one of these two has a lovely yellow in it. But anyway, this is the green bay that I am using just to colour the flowers. And I don't want anything really sort of solid and too opaque, because the rest of the card is quite pale and delicate, so I don't want something that's going to overpower. So there's my leaves. You see, way too much. Way too much. I'm going to clean my brush, dab it off onto my piece of kitchen towel, and then I'm going to go in and mix this. And I'm just going to go over here and check. See, that is quite dark, so I need a lot more water with this. That's more what I want. Okay. So I'm just going over all of it. I think oh no, I left the, oh well, too late. I left the centres in the last one, but I've already gone over them, so it's too late, really. So yeah, so literally just painting the leaves, and then because we don't have time to just leave it to dry, I'm going to give it another little heat blast. There we go. Okay. Now I still have my sentiment to put on, but until I've cut this down, I don't know how big. Sorry, how big? I don't know where the hello is going to end up. So we just give this a little bit of a heat blast to dry the sparkles off. I'm just going to give it a little heat on the back, see if it will straighten some of this out. Okie dokie, right. There's just so much sparkle all over my. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove that. Otherwise, I'm just going to end up covered in sparkles on my arm, and I'll be dropping them wherever I go, sprinkling pixie dust. Right. Okay. So here is my my base card. Got a map here of Central Pearl, and then I've got some nice sort of blue that tones in with these bits from the card. So it's kind of now a case of trying to work out where to cut this. And so what I'm doing is I'm kind of putting this is the bit it's going to go on. I'm kind of working out whereabouts I want this placed. So I think looking at it, possibly cut it there and there. Okay, and let's see about this way as well. Like this. What am I doing? I've done that. Oh, it's this way I want. So, probably about there. And about there. Right, I need to make that mark a little bit further out. Right, let's go with that. Let's go with it. I mean, the other way to do it is to cut your card to the exact size you want before you do your stamping. But hey ho. Swings and roundabouts and all that kind of jazz. Oh, come on in. Right, so I am first of all going back to this bit because I don't feel that one is straight. Okay, just so it's this one that I'm not looking straight. I'll go with it. 100% convinced that I've got that straight. Yeah. We'll deal with it. We'll deal with it. No, put that over there. Let's see, does it fit? Like I see, because it's buckled, it's not that easy. That'll do. Covered in everything. Glue. Now at this point, if I was at home, I would put a fair bit of glue on this because obviously glue is wet. And what we want is for this to straighten out a bit. I would put, like I'm doing here. Normally I wouldn't put this much glue on. If it was flat, you wouldn't need it. But I put a fair bit of glue on. I would put this on, and again you have to fiddle with it because it's buckled. You've got to kind of go with it and move it. And then I would put it under something heavy. But what I am going to just do is, hopefully without moving it too much, is I am just going to brayer over the top. And by putting that much glue on and sort of putting something heavy on it, it's like spritzing it on the back if you want it. It sort of moves the fibres again, and then it kind of straightens it out. Not too bad, but I think because it was buckled, I haven't necessarily cut it particularly straight. But it's enough that I am I can live with. Excuse me. Okay, let's put these together. You see, I've not put on that one anywhere near as much glue because it doesn't. It's a flat piece of card, and then stick this one down. And even now, I could after I finished, I will put this somewhere to press it. Now the last thing I need to do on this is to stamp the hello. That brings to mind an old Lionel Richie song. I'm showing my age there. Hello. I will not. I did. I did. I'm not going to. I am. Am I? Sorry, I'm considering whether I'm going to heat emboss that hello, and I think I will, just so that it ties in with. Let's make sure I'm using the right embossing powder. Right, so we're going to put our hello here. Put a quick little bit of embossing powder on there. And then heat emboss that. In fact, let's put that away first. And put that on there before I put my arm in it. Very quick blast with the heat tool. Oh, and I can see I managed to rub off some of that embossing powder. There we go. There we go. Hello. Okay, so now I don't know where the original card's gone. It's here. It's right there. I would probably, if I'd have been thinking, I probably would have cut this down a little bit further to make it fit. But I would undoubtedly have got it flatter before I even attempted to cut it. So that's what went wrong here. So, I mean, it's just me being picky. I kind of like my borders to be fairly even. But yeah, you get the idea. You've seen the technique, the way I used the Pixie Sparkles to make the background, stamped and embossed, and then painted with the Pixie Sparkles on top to create the whole thing. And we used we used an empty pack. We didn't. I don't know where the thing's gone. We used the daisy blooms from Julie Hickey. So this is the main one and the hello, and then we've got these other little stamps as well, cute little ones that go with it. So that's it. Thank you for joining me.